a tall order at any time, but I suppose if anyone has got the pedigree to go after it, it's Genzebe Dibaba. There she is. The world record, of course, held by Tirunesh Dibaba, 14 minutes, 11.15 seconds. Full lineup there. Her big challenge will come from Hellen Obiri, no doubt. One or two other good athletes. Well, there's plenty of good athletes in here. We're probably going to end up with 2 races, though, because the pace they've asked for is very, very quick. And the likes of GIDEY, World Junior Cross Country Champion, TIROP in there as well. Steph Twell, Eilish McColgan going for Great Britain. The last time they raced against each other would have been the European Indoor Championships when McColgan won a bronze medal. Yasemin TUR of Turkey. And DIRO NEDA. But it's going to be all about Dibaba and Obiri, as far as we can see in terms of the front of the race. Then others will be chasing in good conditions here tonight, chasing fast times. And I guess it'll be a case of where you fall and where you sit within the race. Here's GIDEY, real talent, this youngster. Like watching her run. World Junior Cross Country Champion, as I said, but I think got a big track career ahead of her as well. First big test for her. Well, some consternation around the meeting hotel as to what was being asked for pacemaking-wise. They're going to set off at 67s. Well, that would be under 14 minutes. The idea is to go out hard and then try and hang on, if you like. I'm not sure that's the best way to attack this fast time, and I'm not sure it's the best way for Dibaba. The problem they've got is to go out as hard as she wants to go out. Then you've got to find some good pacemakers, and I'm not convinced they've got 2 good pacemakers here tonight, Tim. I don't think they have good enough quality. And if you think that they want to go out through 3,000 meters in 8:36, and the young athlete who's been asked to do it has a personal best of 9 minutes, you get an idea of the kind of task that will face the pacemakers. So will Dibaba take it on herself? I would think probably after 4 or 5 laps, if she wants to run fast, with Obiri sitting on her. And normally the answer to that would be probably not. So we'll wait and see.
Well, she'll have to do a lot of the work, Steve, certainly through the second half. I'm surprised they haven't studied the splits of Tirunesh Dibaba, her elder sister, back in 2008 in Oslo, when she set the existing world record, because it was way below world record tempo for the first half, and then she closed over the last 4 or 5 laps with an astonishing series of clockings, which brought her home just inside the figures of Defar at the time. But Dibaba, I saw her race, Tirunesh Dibaba, or rather Genzebe Dibaba, I saw her racing, of course, in Eugene a couple of weeks back, where she ran 14:25, way short of the world record that she was talking about then. She was never actually on world record schedule, and maybe she's thinking, well, I need to get on world record schedule. But this is a very tough nut to crack, this world record. It's one of the hardest out there when you look at what we consider as world class for women's 5,000 meters. And many people talk about 15 minutes as being world class. I'm not sure it is myself, but you know, if we say 15 minutes is world class, well, 14:11, you're talking nearly 50 seconds quicker than what is perceived as world class racing. And I think maybe she's just talking too optimistically about world records when this is one of the toughest in the books.
I'd agree, but as I said, I'm just not sure whether, I'd hate to say this, whether this is, not a genuine record in terms of being billed as one, but you would line up better pacemakers. And when she's got Hellen Obiri in the field against her, that's a massive risk to go out hard with somebody who's in such good form. Hellen Obiri is at the moment, sitting on your shoulder. So Kushner was asked to take them through the first 1,000 meters or so, and Kushner is a 4:10, 1,500 meter runner, so she can just about do that. Went through not too far off what was required. And 68 second. If you did, I mean, obviously what Tim said is absolute valid point. Normally we see them build up. If you did run it even paced, it won't be even paced. And you went out and ran 68s all the way, you'd run 14:10. But that's not how this race will pan out. 2:51 through the first.
Well, back to this 5,000 metres, Steve. One athlete I'm interested to watch is Irine CHEPTAI, 25-year-old. If that doesn't ring any bells, it should do. She was world cross-country champion back at the end of March at CHEPTAI, and then I saw her race just a couple of weeks ago in Bangalore in India in a big 10K. She won that very comfortably indeed. But she's relatively inexperienced on the track. She's now, back in about 6th place with those rocking arms and upper body. Yeah, very slightly built in the yellow shoes in 6th places, CHEPTAI. Wonder how long she can hang on to this. I rather fancy she might be a bit of a surprise tonight. Her personal best, CHEPTAI, 14:43. I think she's probably worth 10 or 15 seconds better.
Yeah, we've got 2 races going on here. There's a group of athletes, including the likes of, well, quite a few of the European athletes, McColgan and Twell of Great Britain, and they went off at 3:05 for the first 1,000 meters. They're just so detached. There's this group here, then there's 3 or 4 kind of stragglers, and then 130 meters behind this pace, and it is a fast pace. We've talked about it, and I said that this athlete is not good enough, and Tirunesh Dibaba has, early in this 2,000 meters, decided to have a go. Hats off to her. She's going to take it on, but there's a massive risky strategy this, because if she's not in shape to go and run very fast and run away from Obiri and the rest of them, then she's going to pay for this, because it's going to be a long...
It was a comfortable win.
Well, I'm not sure it's that comfortable for Genzebe Dibaba out in front here, because Obiri's just tucked into her, right in behind, and it's just sort of slowing and slowing. I mean, that second 1,000 meters, and when she decided to pick it up, was a 2:54. You're already 5 seconds down on the pace they were looking for even at that point, and then to have to run this far on your own, out in front, that's a tough ask. So she's got TIROP for company as well at the back of that group, and CAN of a former run for Turkey now. Yeah, you know, this obviously isn't what was billed, but I'm just curious, Tim. I mean, you know, if you say you're going to go out that hard, but you've got to find better pacemakers than she had. And look how she's slowing. She's slowing so much that Obiri goes, "Oh, come on, enough is enough. I came here to run fast. I came here to run hard. If you're going to keep slowing down like this, I'm off." And away she goes, and all of a sudden, Dibaba's in 4th place.
Well, they're approaching the halfway point. I mean, they come through now with, what, 5 laps to run, in fact. So 8:38 there at 3,000. Now, funnily enough, the world record, the time at 3K during the world record, Steve, was 8:38. It's almost identical. The difference is that Tirunesh Dibaba, her elder sister, finished like an absolute train.
And going like a train, Obiri.
Thrown this year, including Veta, who's 2nd on the world rankings.
A huge lap there from Hellen Obiri, who's thrown the gauntlet down, took off at 8:38. She's just thrown a 65-second lap in. And when you consider they were dropping down to 70s at that point, the damage she's done, not only to Genzebe Dibaba, TIROP tried to go with it for a little while, couldn't. Obiri might pay for that impetuousness, but that's going to bring her back into sort of 14:20 pace. They were slipping into the 14:25s, and it was only going in one direction. And Dibaba must be thinking, what on earth was the plan here tonight? I think it was a silly plan from the start. I don't think they had the right pacemakers. I don't know, as I said, whether they were playing games with the people who organised this meet here in Rome. But that world record attempt was never going to happen. Hellen Obiri was always going to be a big threat. And it's Obiri now who's chasing the clock on her own, way out in front, probably 35 metres in front at this minute. Tim, this time round, she'll see that she's only got 3 laps to go.
Wouldn't it be ironic, Steve, if Obiri were to threaten or even break the world record here tonight? She looks very in control. A 65-second lap. You're getting into male running terms there. I mean, that is fabulous. A mid-race injection of pace. She's destroyed Dibaba, about whose form there are big question marks now. 14:25 in Eugene a couple of weeks back was way off the target of the world record. She wasn't even close. And to run again, or to at least to put up in lights another attempt at the world record over 5,000. And 5,000 is a tough distance. It's a draining distance. Just 2 weeks later, it's for me a big tactical error. And this is not great for confidence, because as things stand at the moment, with what, about 1,000 meters to run, she's being thrashed by Hellen Obiri. Stream left of picture from the Kenyan. Comes to 4 kilometers now. And this is just superb. 2:48, 11:26.
Quickest kilometre of the race for Hellen Obiri with 1,000 meters to go. She dropped back to almost a 69-second lap after that 65. It was actually 64.75 I've just seeing on the computer. So Hellen Obiri dragged this race back into a fast pace, but she's going to struggle here, I think, to really finish as strongly as she might have done, having done that. She's won the race. She's blown the race apart. And now, with 2 laps to go, she'll see that the clock is just ticking over. 12:01, 12:02. And let's say if she could run sub says 2:15, 2:16, then she's going to get under 14:20, which in itself would be a great performance. But that's a big last 2 laps for her on her own.
Well, it will, and of course, surges like a 65 really take their toll on you in middle distance races, 5,000s in particular. Another little glance over her shoulder there. I don't think she can believe the gap she's got, because it's 100 metres now, almost 100 metres. By the way, Steve, that 4-kilometre split was about a second and a half inside the world record split of Tirunesh Dibaba back in 2008. Dibaba went through 4K in 11:28. She went through in 11:26. It's just that Dibaba produced almost incredible figures for those last couple of laps.
Well, Hellen Obiri, great athlete that she is really stepping up here tonight. The Olympic silver medalist over this distance of 5,000 metres has been in great form over the last 2 years in particular. Her personal best is 14:22.47. She's got a chance. She's coming down with a good, almost 100-metre lead, certainly good 85-metre lead, as Tim was saying. She's going to take the bell in around 13:13. So she needs about a 69 last lap. 68 would get her a personal best. She's going to be close to that. She's now lapping athletes. 1 or 2 have dropped out, I think, in that group with the bad pace that they'd set out at. And the youngster GIDEY is now getting onto the group behind these. But this is Obiri, and the crowd rising to her.
Well, Obiri here has looked quite supreme. She's destroyed Dibaba. Her veil of invincibility is long gone. She's lapping good athletes here as Hellen Obiri, Steve. And this is going to be a mighty quick time. It's the manner of the performance that has been special. When you have to inject laps as quick as 65, that's just not the optimum way of holding a pace.
She's lapping athletes, which is giving her something to run at, and is lifting this again. There's only 4 athletes have ever run under 14:20. She's going to be close to it. Hellen Obiri heading for a personal best, heading for one of the quickest ever 5,000 metres, and sprinting away. Hellen Obiri is watching the clock. She's going to win the race, and look at the time, 14:18.38. A huge performance from Hellen Obiri. Great running from her, and I can tell you that Genzebe Dibaba is pretty much jogging in, being passed by athletes in the home straight. A Kenyan record. Only Ethiopians, the 3, Tirunesh Dibaba, Ayana and Meseret Dafar, have run quicker. Ayana ran 14:12 here last year, and Hellen Obiri with a superb 14:18. TIROP took the 2nd place. GIDEY did, the youngster did get up for 3rd. What a big 5,000 from her as well in 3rd place. But whatever the hype about Genzebe Dibaba, it is hype at the moment. Hellen Obiri, form athlete, running well, running strong, running confident, took it on, Tim, rewarded with a huge, huge performance, 14:18.
Absolutely, and Steve, I got her last lap at 65.4. I mean, she really did find something still left in the tank for that final circuit of the track here tonight, and I love that shot of her just now, spread eagle on the ground. That's what 5,000-metre running is about. It's desperately exhausting if you give your all. Look at her here, head rocking from side to side, still driving hard with the arms, trying desperately to get under 14:20. She knew the world record was long gone, but that is a special run tonight from Hellen Obiri. A Kenyan record. They don't come too often these days for obvious reasons.
I've always enjoyed watching Hellen Obiri run. You know, great athlete, had a bit of a difficult 2014, but bounced back over the last couple of years, and now running better than ever. A new Kenyan record for Obiri in a world-leading time. Great performance from her.